Hello everybody and welcome to Notorious Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm Notorious Cly, and I'm sorry for the terrible clickbaity YouTube title and thumbnail, but it got you here, didn't it? And you are here because you want to see the newest, cheesiest version of Orcust. And in the title and thumbnail, I alluded to this deck list being the new Infernity, because the duel you are playing is not going to be decided by the cards on the field, but rather the coin flip. And some of you may be looking at the screen right now and only seeing 4 cards in the main deck and a full extra deck and wondering, like, where's the rest of the deck? Well, what are you doing here? How does this even work? And the news for you is this is all the engine requirement needed to play the newest, cheesiest form of Orcust. The full deck is going to look a little something like this. That's right, everybody. 4 engine requirement cards and then 16 staples. 16 blowout cards, 16 forms of interruption, whatever you have. If you go first, you're probably going to end up winning the duel with this list. And if you go second, you're probably going to end up losing. But, you know, you might be able to cheese out a victory every now and then. So now the question becomes, what's the thing that allows you to only play 4 engine cards? Like, what's the catch? And the catch is, there's a skill out there called Elements Unite from the Paradox Brothers that allows you to start the duel with 500 life points, only 1 card in your hand, which is guaranteed to be Gate Guardian, and then the Gate Guardian pieces on your side of the field face up. Their effects are negated and they cannot declare an attack, but we don't care. We got 3 free pieces of link material for the trade-off of 3,500 life points and our only card being Gate Guardian. But luckily for us, there are some incredibly generic tools that tie in incredibly well with Orcust that pull the whole deck list together. Before we go any further, I need to give a quick shout out. Give me 1 second to pull up their names. The first shout out is to Hero Tact Miles, and the second shout out is to Lumina 46 Gusto Clock. And if those names sound weird, it's because they're Reddit usernames. I was browsing Reddit looking for inspiration on an Ibli or mermaid focused version of Orcust, and those 2 Reddit users had found this Orcust list out in the wild and decided to share it with the masses on Reddit. So now here I am sharing it with all of you. I can't help but hate and admire this list at the same time because it embodies one of the things I love the most about Duel Links and one of the things I hate the most about Duel Links. One of the things I love the most is creative, innovative, and intelligent people using skills to completely warp everything we know about deck building in Yu-Gi-Oh! And the thing I hate is skills being used as a means to create a deck list that leads to non-games of Yu-Gi-Oh! Games of Yu-Gi-Oh! That are decided by the coin flip and lead to uninteractive floodgate or blowout card turbo. So there's not really a lot to talk about with this list. We're going to go over the basic combo, and then I'm going to actually walk you through the combo. So if you are interested in playing this list and trying it out, you can do so. So the engine requirement cards that we are playing is 1 copy of Orcust Harpor, 1 copy of Orcust Symbol Skeleton, 1 copy of Orcust Nightmare, and 1 copy of Orchestrated Return. Your normal turn 1 combo will run through all 4 of these cards. And then the key enablers in the extra deck are Mega Phantom Beast Draco Sack, Nightmare Phoenix, and Nightmare Mermaid. So the way the combo works is you have the Gate Guardian pieces face up on your side of the field at the beginning of the duel. So you get to overlay 2 of the level 7s for Draco Sack. Draco Sack gets to make 2 tokens. Then you get to use a token and Draco Sack to make Nightmare Phoenix because it requires 2 monsters with different names. And then since Nightmare Phoenix is a Nightmare monster, you get to go ahead and link that off for Nightmare Mermaid because Nightmare Mermaid is a link one that only requires 1 Nightmare monster. And then you get to use Nightmare Mermaid's effect to discard 1 card, being the only card in your hand, which is Gate Guardian, and special summon a Nightmare monster from your deck, which is Orcust Nightmare. You then get to perform an elaborate series of linking off your monsters and grabbing the Orcusts from your deck and using their effects to end up with an end board that has Decode Talker pointing to a token, so its targeting negation is live, and Dingirsu, Orcust of the Evening Star, with a material attached to it, which means it is protected from battle and card effects. It also gets to protect the Decode Talker and the token from being destroyed by battle or card effects. And the last part of your end board is going to be 2 cards, which are very likely going to be any one of your many staples that you're playing, because you're grabbing them off of Orchestrated Return. So that's really it for the deck profile, everybody. There's not really much to talk about. I think I'm going to talk a little bit about expectations for this list before we do the combo, just so all of you don't run off really quick before I actually tell you how I feel about this list after you see the combo. So my expectations for this list is it can hit King of Games, because in a best of one series on the ladder, all you need to have is a positive win rate and enough persistence to get there. And you're going to eventually win enough coin flips to win with this deck. This deck is going to have an incredible time going first, assuming your opponent doesn't play any sort of graveyard-based interaction, because you're just going to be able to set up unobstructed and there's nothing your opponent can do about it. This deck will probably have a miserable time going second, because it is going to be very vulnerable to disruption, because you don't really have any cards in hand to defend yourself with. You're stuck trying to perform the same combo, but trying to force that combo through your opponent's board. And if you don't get through your combo, you don't get to draw any additional cards, which means you don't get to draw into any of your back row, which could potentially keep you alive for another turn and allow you to keep playing. So this deck list is going to pretty much auto lose going second and almost auto win going first, which kind of feels like the old Infernity, which is why I made that comparison in the title and in the intro here. Feels like the old Infernity list, where if they win the coin flip and you don't have the graveyard-based interaction, they're just going to hand loop you twice and then set up a unbreakable board. With my expectations and thoughts out of the way now, let's run over to the combo. Alright everybody, it's combo time, and we need to set up the board in our hand to appropriately reflect our skill, which is Elements Unite by the Paradox Brothers. Pretty sure I mentioned that in the deck profile, but just in case I didn't, the Elements Unite skill is the thing that enables all of this nonsense. So we need to put back all those. Gate Guardian is already in our hand, which is fantastic. And we just need to get Suijin and Kazujin from our deck. So the first part of the combo is to make Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack. So we're going to go ahead and make Draco Sack by attaching 2 materials. Please bear with me. There we go. Dueling Book is a little funky. And you need to make Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack in the extra monster zone, so you have room to make 2 tokens. So you're going to go ahead and detach 1 material. Does not matter which one. And that material detach will special summon you 2 tokens. Next, we need to make Nightmare Phoenix using Draco Sack on one of the tokens. Please use the token directly under the extra monster zone. You do not want to use the one in the middle zone, because that is where Deco Tucker will eventually have its link arrow pointing to, and Deco Tucker needs to point to a monster to have its effect be live. So Draco Sack will go to the graveyard, and we will go ahead and link out for Nightmare Phoenix. Then we are going to link off the Nightmare Phoenix for a Nightmare Mermaid. And on summon, Nightmare Mermaid's effect will trigger. We will discard 1 card, being the only card in our hand, to special summon a Nightmare monster from our deck. We're going to special summon Orcust Nightmare. Now we can go ahead and link Orcust Nightmare and Nightmare Mermaid for Galatea. We will go ahead and use Orcust Nightmare's effect in graveyard to banish itself to send an Orcust monster, a Dark Machine monster, but in this case an Orcust monster, from our deck to the graveyard. We are going to send Orcust Harp Horror to the graveyard. Next, we need to use Harp Horror's effect in graveyard to banish itself and special summon an Orcust monster from our deck. So we banish Harp Horror and special summon the Symbol Skeleton. Next, we will use Galatea's effect to shuffle in one of our banished machine monsters to go ahead and set an Orcust spell or trap directly from our deck. I don't believe it matters which one of these you shuffle back. I would always prefer to shuffle back the Harp Horror because, well, you can always use it for follow-up purposes. There shouldn't be a follow-up when you're playing this deck. You're either going to win or you're going to lose because you have 500 life points, but it never hurts to just plan for the niche case scenarios. So we're going to shuffle back the Harp Horror. I may be incorrect here and you might want to shuffle back the Nightmare, but again, I don't think it really matters. All we're trying to do is set up a turn 1 board that is going to survive and then kill our opponent on the crackback. And we need to set the Orchestrated Return. So the Orchestrated Return will be set directly from our deck, and at which point we will go ahead and activate the Orchestrated Return, sending the Orcust Symbol Skeleton to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. So let's make sure we're shuffled up here, and draw, and draw. Those are excellent. Next, we're going to use Galatea as a link to, and Sangha, or whatever leftover Gate Guardian piece you have, for the leak summon of Deco Tucker. And remember when I said we needed to leave this token in that zone? It's because now Deco Tucker is pointing to it, and Deco Tucker's effect is live, plus it gets a nice little attack boost. And then we're going to use Orcust Symbol Skeleton's effect in graveyard to banish itself to special summon an Orcust monster from our graveyard. We're going to special summon Galatea. And I don't believe it matters which zone you summon Galatea to, but we're just going to do here. And then now that we have an Orcust Link monster on our field, we can go ahead and special summon Dingirsu from our extra deck, overlaying it on top of the Orcust Link monster. We're going to go ahead and set 2 cards and pass turn to our opponent. We have Decode Talker here, which will negate a targeted effect. And then we have Dingirsu, which has a material on it, which means we can protect one of our monsters or cards from being destroyed by battle or card effect. And we also have Needle Stealing to ensure we can blank whatever our opponent has. And we have Book of Moon to help interrupt them as well. I'm not quite sure what the best back row with this list are to be playing, but just play whatever high impact disruptive cards you have access to. And that's the combo, everybody. That's the deck. I've already shared my thoughts and expectations with you for this list, but I'm just going to reiterate them here really quick because I think it's important, especially with the deck list like this. This deck is going to feel amazing to play when you're going first, but it is going to feel miserable when you are going second. Going first, if your opponent doesn't have the key piece of interaction to disrupt you, you get to set up all this for free because of a minor skill oversight on Konami's part. When you're going second, you have almost no ability to interrupt your opponent because your only card is Gate Guardian, plus the card you are drawing. I think now is a good time to close out this video. Thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully this was a fun video and entertaining video. If you are interested in playing this deck, please play it. Let me know how it is, and let me know if there's any tweaks or improvements you've made to the list that make it more fun or more interesting. Again, I don't entirely hate this list. I admire it in a weird, sick kind of way because it does exemplify one of the things I love the most about Duel Links. But at the same time, I hate that one of the things I love the most about Duel Links is building a deck that leads to sacky non-games. That's going to be it for the video, everybody. Thank you again for watching. Be safe, have fun, everybody.